Grand Theft Auto DLC and Steam sales, it's GNT. Welcome to GNT, your one-stop shop for gaming news and whatever else we want to talk about. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon.
It's been a while since we've recorded. It's a busy time of year. We're back with, we're going to start off with Turtle Rock Studios, creators of Left 4 Dead and Evolve, making a new AAA co-op shooter for PC and consoles. They've teamed up with Perfect World Entertainment, who made Blacklight Retribution and Star Trek Online. There's speculation as if it will be free to play, since Perfect World Entertainment's games, a lot of them are free to play, but we don't know yet. They said it'll be a brand new franchise, so it's exciting. Obviously love Left 4 Dead. Never played Evolve actually.
They got pretty good reviews. So I think I played the beta for it, but it was a pretty good game.
Mm-hmm. And we have Grand Theft Auto bringing back a festive limited time DLC, which they did last year. And it has the snowballs, new weapons, clothing, vehicles, and obviously climate changes. And then they also recently introduced the Import-Export DLC, which involves handling, storing, buying and selling exotic and stolen vehicles. So, I mean, here we are again talking about Grand Theft Auto bringing more to the table.
It's because they're doing it right. Free DLC, long game support. I mean, if you purchase Grand Theft Auto at any point, you will get your money's worth. No questions, no doubts. That is a solid buy, whether you paid the $60 for it back when it first came out, or you buy it now for whatever it's going for.
Yeah.
You will get your money out of it. I mean, without a doubt.
I know we've covered it, but to buy a game years after it came out and still be getting new content is
free new
crazy.
Content.
Yeah.
You look at like your World of Warcraft. You get new content, but you pay.
Yeah.
Some developers, like I know Square Enix with Final Fantasy XIV, their patches sometimes would have new content beyond the expansions, which is nice. So you still get that fresh content every now and again without the introduction of a major expansion. But here we are with Grand Theft Auto consistently with the content, and not just little bits of content. I mean, this is a lot of new vehicles, a lot of new missions. I mean, solid DLC content.
Yep, absolutely. Then we have a Steam Winter Sale starting this coming Thursday, and when January 2nd. So if you're looking for a last minute gift idea for a game or something, now's the time. And Mario Run, it did sell well, but apparently it's had some negative reactions too, because Nintendo's stocks took a hit apparently after its release. And I think the thing is with Nintendo, they saw potential with Miitomo, which they released, and then Pokemon Go, which wasn't theirs, but they got a piece of. I think just Mario Run being $10, I think it's just too high. I mean, it's not out for Android yet, but I don't know if I'll get it for $10.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where, unless you're bringing a really good game to the mobile platform, mobile phone platform, and can justify that $10 cost, I think you're more than just with this one. You're just paying for the Mario name, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do play a lot on their mobile phones, but there's a lot of games like that are free, and the only thing that's going to make you go to that game is the Mario name. So
yep. Yeah, I'd see maybe $5 I'd probably pay for it. But yeah, high price, and we'll see if they do any adjustments with that or make any more games. But then today we had a BioWare live stream. Now I'll probably upload this tomorrow. I don't know if it will still be going on then, but I tweeted it out today, twitch.tv/BioWare. And I was telling you about it, but it's just a guy sitting in front of a fire with like a Christmas BioWare sweater on, his coffee, and just drinks coffee, looks at the camera. It started at like 3:30 today. It was going on an hour ago whenever I checked it, so like an hour and a half. I think it's a lesson to everyone. I think we're doing too much. If you can get 20,000 viewers sitting from a fire, what are we doing?
Oh, we need to rename ourselves to BioWare.
That might help.
GNT isn't doing it, so that's our lesson.
And then last Friday was a big release for Rogue One, and we both saw it. And this will include spoilers. So if you haven't seen Rogue One and you don't want to be spoiled, stop watching. Go see Rogue One. Why haven't you seen it yet? And then come back and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I'll start with mine. Overall, it was good. I was happy I saw it. I thought it was a little slow to start. And as I told you, my biggest problem was having Darth Vader in the trailers. I was hoping he would be like the main bad guy. We'd get a good amount of action, including him. And we got a little at the end. And that last scene was incredible, I thought. Just him in the dark, you hear his breathing.
Uh-huh.
And then he turned on the lightsaber, and I was flipping out. But yeah, I was just hoping for more Darth Vader, so that was the biggest thing. And like I said to you, if they wouldn't have had him in the trailers, I probably would have been much happier, because he pretty much just had a cameo. So if I wasn't expecting him, I probably would have liked it a lot more.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I knew going in what to expect. And I think the reason that they didn't put as much Vader in it as fans would have liked is because it wasn't a Vader story. It was the side story of how the plans got stolen for the Death Star. And we all knew that the people died that got the plan. So you knew how it was going to end. You knew that people were going to die. You didn't know how they were going to die, but you knew that. That being said, I still loved it. I got connected with the characters, even though I knew that they were going to meet a untimely demise. It just delivered. It just, for me, it was firing on all cylinders. I like the little throwbacks to Episode 4. For one, maybe some people that didn't know or weren't paying attention, whenever Jyn got to that city, and she ran into the two alien people. Yeah. They were the same people that Obi-Wan cut down in the cantina on Tatooine.
Yeah, that was great.
That was just nostalgia right there. It just really did it for me. And then I also liked the guy on Yavin that was in the little watch-out tower. If you remember, whenever the Millennium Falcon's coming in Episode 4, he, scans them, and then there he was back on his perch. It was just a little touch that I really liked. But for me, it did it for me. I just really liked it all across the board.
I really liked how they, one thing I loved was they talked about how he built in that spot that they could shoot in to destroy it. Because that was a big thing. Why would they have this hole that you could shoot in and blow up the whole thing? But so that was explained, which I liked. And then them just firing it down into the planets to destroy the cities.
Yeah, only firing cool. One phase. Yeah,
that was really cool.
Yeah, it did a lot of destruction. A lot of, almost like a Independence Day style laser beam at that point, with the ripple coming across there.
Looking back on it, I did like it. I think right after the fact, I was a little more salty about it than now. But just there was a comic book that. And I know this wasn't what the movie was intending, but there was a moment from a comic that I saw, and it had Darth Vader, and he's like surrounded by all these soldiers. Vehicles are coming up on him, and they shout, "You're surrounded, Vader!" And he says, I forget, he says something like, "All I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men," and he starts kicking butt. So that's kind of what I had in mind, which probably wasn't the most fair expectation, but
they could have put it in there. They could have easily put something like that in there. But I think that would have taken away from just the side story, that they're just trying to show you that this is kind of what the characters were going through and how they decided to rise up and steal those plans even though that they knew they were going to die.
Yeah.
They easily could have had it, the part where the troops that were doing the diversion got, taken out by Vader. It could have gone a number of ways, but for me, the way it was done was good. I really liked it. I liked it better than The Force Awakens. I thought the plot for that was a little weak, especially if you think about how it plays with the whole father-son thing again, where, Luke took out, essentially he took out Vader, which was the son taking out the father.
Yeah.
And then, again, you had Kylo Ren
I didn't even think about
taking
that. Yeah.
out Han
That's true.
Solo, which was the son taking out the father.
Mm-hmm.
But in the other spectrum, on the dark side of the spectrum, whereas Luke was good and he took out his father who was evil at the time. That's how that played out. Whereas Kylo Ren was evil and took out his father who was good at the time. It just and then another Death Star. Just rehashing too many things that have already been done. The thing I kind of liked about Rogue One is this is just a fresh take on, it was a story that we all knew how it was going to end, but it's like, here's how it happened, and they didn't try to reinvent the wheel, they didn't try to rehash any old ideas, they paid homage to the movies and accomplished the task of telling you how those plans got taken.
I did like how it led right up to. They even had I think that was Carrie Fisher. They just did like the Robert Downey Jr. thing in Civil War, made her look younger. I think I heard that was actually her that was in it. So that was cool how they led right up to A New Hope.
Yeah. I mean, it just like I said, for me it did it. It just was just a good solid movie. I mean, I thought the pacing was good. I mean, it ramped up, I think, quickly. I mean, it could have gone, right into action, but I think the way it started out kind of slow and just built up into that ending was very well paced because of, I mean, it was, at the end, it was crazy. I mean, you had battles going on all over that installation. Yeah. You had different people doing different things, hooking up radio relays and turning on switches and getting, I just thought it was just very tastefully done across the board. The robot provided comic relief in a way better manner than Jar Jar Binks ever could have dreamed of.
That's true.
I mean, far superior. I mean, I think their kind of intentions were back in episode 1 is to kind of have a comic relief, but they didn't think that by making Jar Jar Binks so annoying that it just, instead of finding it slightly humorous in different points, it just pissed fans off. Whereas I thought the robot was funny and didn't mind them and really enjoyed the banter that went on between him and the other people, you know?
At the time, I didn't mind Jar Jar Binks when I first saw it, but I was 7 years old, so that might have had something to do with it.
Probably.
And then the only other thing was, I was kind of surprised. I think people going into this, I can't remember the guy's name. The guy had the robot legs and.
Oh, okay.
That guy, I knew he was in the Clone Wars series. He was a clone, and they did explain it a little bit, but they didn't do as much with him as I thought. I mean, they talked about him a little bit, and then he ended up dying, which
they could have explained it more. All I knew prior to or after seeing the movie was the role he facilitated was getting Jyn after her parent. Well, after what happened to her parents. So that's how I saw him fit into that role. Then I learned later on that he was a character in the Clone Wars. So, I mean, that's just a little bit more depth tie-in. That if you had seen the Clone Wars or followed the Clone Wars, you get that bonus, thing. If not, for me, Forrest Whitaker's character still, fulfilled his role. I mean, I got it. He was leading a resistance or an extremist group, and so.
Yeah, so overall, it was good. We talked about this a little before. I kind of just want to open it up if anyone think about doing the talk shows on Twitch and how there wasn't a ton. I've been watching them and kind of thinking about streaming this to Twitch. And then we're also recording it and putting it on YouTube. And what I kind of had in mind was we'd be a little more relax for this stream, kind of do more of like a podcast style, and then if need be, edit it down for YouTube and just do kind of a point by point thing for YouTube. And then we could always throw it on SoundCloud or anything else. But just kind of opening up if anybody watching has an opinion, if you'd like to see something more on Twitch or SoundCloud or anything like that, let us know in the comments, and we'll definitely take into consideration. All right, so it's been a while, but we're back with this. Have a great Christmas, great holidays, and we'll see you next time. If Grandma drank all the gravy, just grab some pumpkin and throw it on your potatoes and you'll be fine.
If your grandma drinks all the gravy, your first priority may be to take her to the ER.
Grandma drinking the gravy again.